All right, everyone. Welcome back to another Methough. This is Methough episode 23. And today we're going to be talking about Battlefield 2042. But before we get in all that, as usual, if you could like, share, subscribe, comment, all the stuff you do for another YouTuber, do it for your boy. There's a reason why they say it. There's a reason why I say it. That stuff really does help out. I mean, clearly it helps them out, hence why they're 10 times bigger than I am. So, yeah, with all that out the way, let's talk about it. So, as you see in the title of this video, we're talking about Battlefield 2043. And I'm not going to lie to you, this game is very costumistic to me. I know I'm back with another Methough and I'm using that word again. But it's true, though. I'm costumistic. And here's the reason why. I got a few notes right here on my computer. Nothing that's too in detail. I'm going to kind of go off memory, but the key points of the things I want to bring up are right here. But so let me start off with the performance. The performance on PC was absolutely awful. I had multiple moments of just the game not wanting to cooperate. Now, I have a decent rig, okay? I like to bring these specs up to kind of show you where I'm at PC-wise so you can know that I can throw certain things at my PC with no problem. I'm rocking a 2080, not a Ti variation, because I got my card before they did the Ti variation. And I think I keep on forgetting. I don't know if I have an i7 77K or a i7 87K. I can't remember which one I have. But either way, I have a beefy PC, okay? 16 gigabytes of DDR4 RAM, all of that shit. Like, I got the shit that you would need to play this game at a high setting. Nonetheless, that's what essentially I'm getting at. I have the rig to do it. But I couldn't even get over 60 FPS. And that's even with my shit on medium, by the way. On medium graphic settings, I still couldn't get above 60. And I looked at some other people's videos and they were talking about the same thing. The main one I watched was Skill Up. I watched his video and he was talking about he had his shit on a 3090 and he could barely get his shit up above blah, blah. I'm tired, excuse me. Yeah, I know I'm always tired, but look, I work second shift. I just came back from the gym, so a nigga's tired. Bear with me. Anyway, he had a 3090, and everybody know about them 3090 cards. You can play Doom. Well, Doom can run on anything, but it's still the point of you can run Doom at max settings at 4K and get like 100 FPS. You know, everybody knows the 3090 is like OP as fuck. But really, even on the 3090, he could barely get above 70. That means there's some poor optimization there. There's some real bad optimization, and it was definitely apparent on my card. I got a lot of micro stutters. Once again, I couldn't get above 60. I always hovered around 50 to like, I would say 59-ish. Like I never really got to 60. The only time I got above 60 was in the menus because there was nothing there. And to a certain extent, I get it. You know, they're talking about 120 players on a map. And, you know, it's a huge ass map. You got helicopters and jets flying around. You know, you got a bunch of shit. I get that. But still, like that's not good, especially when I put the game on medium settings. I doubt that game is that graphically intense to where even on medium, I'm not even getting above 60. So that was one thing in one performance aspect that I noticed off rip that I was just like, this is really rough, and I don't think they're gonna be able to fix a lot of this stuff about time the actual game comes out, which is just a month away, by the way. So yeah, I doubt they're going to be able to fix a lot of this. I feel like we're going to be entering like a Battlefield 3 and 4 type territory where it comes out really, really broken. And I really don't want it to be that way. But I just feel like that's what's inevitably going to happen. I feel like they should delay this till next year. But we know they're not because we haven't had a Battlefield game, since 5? And I think that was, 2019? Maybe? I think that was 2019, maybe 2018. Now that I think about it, but that was 2019, or maybe it was 2018. I don't remember because when I built my PC, I got a free code for that in Anthem when I bought my graphics card. And if I'm not mistaken, I think I built my PC in 2019. So yeah, that game has been around since 2018, 2019. So we haven't had a Battlefield since then. So, you know, I just hate that this is the route that this game is going to most likely end up taking is Battlefield 3 or 4. But nonetheless, that was the first thing that I end up noticing with this beta. The second thing that was really just like, it really, I would say, Static Shock would say, even though I don't fucking like that show or that character, that put a shock to my system was the random frame drops I got, and just going back to the optimization thing, how 1 minute the game will be working fine and the next minute I would just fucking lose frames like it's nothing. And I have a very clear recordable moment of this happening. I'm about to show it here in a second, but before I do, I want to put this out there. The colors are going to be a little bit, I ain't gonna say saturated, they're going to be overly saturated, I guess you would say. They're going to be a little bit blown out because I forgot that I cut on HDR in Windows, and Shadowplay doesn't like when you have HDR on. It fucks up the colors of the video. And normally it used to didn't let you record with Shadowplay with HDR cut on, but now it does, and it just fucks up the footage. So the colors are gonna look weird to a certain extent. They're gonna look overblown and just like super out there. But don't worry about how the footage looks to a certain extent color wise. Just look how I go from 50 to 60 FPS to literally 9 FPS. It sucks I wasn't able to catch my FPS counter at that time, which most time you're not supposed to see it anyway, but definitely at that moment I wish I could have. But just look at it and you'll see what I'm talking about.
The Russians have Sector Charlie.
See what I mean? Like how I went from that to that in mere seconds just walking through water. And it sucked that I had to literally quit the game in order to get back in the game. And I don't even know if it was the same game I was playing, like, you know, with the same people. But it's just like, man, really? All of this in the beta? Like, this is not what you want as a first impression. Because now I don't even know if I want to buy the game or not. I don't know if I want to just sit back and wait and see how it comes out, then buy it or what. Because if I'm going to be getting this at launch to where if I miraculously decide to walk through a puddle of water, which in this case, it wasn't a puddle, but you get my point, a thing of water that my FPS is going to randomly drop and I have to quit the game. That doesn't make me want to play it. That doesn't make me want to buy it, because then I'm going to have to come out with all of my friends. I'm like, hey, I gotta back out, so y'all gotta back out with me just to start a new game, because the game for some reason just decided to say, fuck you, I don't like water. Like it's not good. It's not. But that's not the only moment I had. I know, surprisingly shocking, right? There was another moment where I was loaded into a game, but I wasn't loaded into a game. And I know what you're thinking. What does that mean? That doesn't even make any sense. Once again, I have a clip of it. So I loaded into a game and I started a game, but I never actually officially loaded into the game. So I guess I spawned under the map, maybe. I don't know, but this was just not a me thing. Once again, I watched Skill Up video and he had the same problem. He showed the same thing, but I literally spawned in the game. I could hear the sound effects. I could hear the helicopters, the jets, people shooting, all of that. But the map was just not there. And there was like chunks of trees and shit. And I couldn't I had to back out once again, but I couldn't like try to respawn. I couldn't select the character. I couldn't do any of that. Like literally, I'm going to show you the footage once again, but I spawned in the game, but I didn't spawn in the game, if that makes any sense. Like, once again, you're going to see what I'm talking about. Just look at it. See what I'm saying? I spawned in the game, but I didn't spawn in the game. Once again, like I just said, this is not good. This doesn't make me excited. It doesn't. It really leaves me costumistic because, and I'm gonna get to the gameplay in a minute, but the gameplay is solid. But if this is the technical difficulties I'm gonna have to deal with just to play this game, then I'd rather not buy it. I'd rather not buy it. And most of the time, when games are like this and people try to throw up that beta excuse, it never works out. It always end up being this broken when the game comes out. Just like Battlefield 3, the same thing happened with Battlefield 3. I will never forget playing Battlefield 3 beta when it came out back in the day, and the game turning out the exact same way when it came out and when it launched. So I just don't know. The performance of this game really leaves me scratching my head and really leaves me costumistic and just like, I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't know what DICE is doing. They've had all this time. I don't even like, and I could be wrong, but if I remember correctly, it went Battlefront 2, then Battlefield 5. And I know they had that was BioWare. So I was about to say Anthem. So yeah, I don't even know what DICE has been doing this whole time. Like, I'm genuinely confused on why this game is like this. Unless I'm missing something, which, you people can easily correct me. I don't remember everything all the time. But if I'm not mistaken, it went Battlefront 2, then Battlefield 5, and they haven't made anything since. So my thing is that, where has all this time went? Once again, I could be wrong. I don't remember the timeline of everything quite well, so if I'm wrong, please correct me. But I'm pretty sure that's how it went. And if they've been working on this whole time, why is it in this bad of a shape? It does not make any sense. Yeah, man, this is sad. This is sad. That's the best way I can put it. It's just sad because I really would love to buy this game day one, and I would really love to get back into Battlefield because the last one I really put time into was Battlefield 1. I didn't too much care for Battlefield 5, and it just sucks that once again we're gonna probably end up going down the route of Battlefield 3 or 4, and it is what it is. It is what it is. Next thing is the graphics. Like I said, I got my notes over here. That's why I'm looking. And I got my other computer over here. But anyway, next thing is the graphics. So the graphics for this game is not honestly the best. It really isn't. Like, for some reason, the game just looks weird to me. Like, the Frostbite engine is supposed to be one of the best looking engines out there, which it can be. And DICE has proven that multiple times. Even BioWare proved that despite how Anthem went. Anthem was a really good looking game. You can't knock it for that. Mass Effect Andromeda was a pretty good looking game most of the time. Environment wise, maybe not character wise, but environment wise, you can't lie. Mass Effect Andromeda looked gorgeous. And for some reason, this game just is not, it looks weird. It looks weird to me. Like, a lot of the specialists look weird. Now, I understand that to a certain extent because there's going to be so many character models and players on screen that they kind of, to me personally, and with my little bit of knowledge of game development, because I went to school for game development, I just don't give a fuck about it no more. So that's why I haven't really went in the field. Like, I get with that many people being on screen, to a certain extent, they're going to have to limit the poly count on the character models in order to shove all of them on there and to make it where to, like, your PS4 and PS5 is not going to fucking explode and graphics cards and power supplies are going to explode. Like, I get they have to do that, but the characters just look fucking weird, dude. Like, especially the assault guy, he just looks weird. Like, I don't know, it's just something about his face and the way he looks. He just looks weird. And I don't know why. And then even the overall aesthetic of the game looks weird. Like, I get that it's supposed to be this hybrid of like 4 and 1 and, like, basically everything they've done over the past couple of years, and it's supposed to be like blended them all. Hence why they have the portal mode where you could take certain like looks from Battlefield 1, like soldiers, and mix them with 2042 characters, and then Battlefield 4 characters. Like, I get that's why they're doing that. So maybe they're trying to develop an art style to where all of them kind of blend seamlessly, but it just looks weird. It looks weird, and I don't too much care for it, and I don't know. Once again, it's just one of those decisions I don't understand why they took that route. But one thing I will say though, in my first positive, is that this game, it is to a certain extent. Once again, the environment, I will say, the environment looks fantastic. Even on medium settings, the streets, the grass, and everything in between looked fucking phenomenal. I remember like there was a point in time when I was playing, I just looked down at the ground and I was just looking at the road and I was like, this shit looks fantastic. And this was on medium settings because that's the only way I could play it. If I played it on anything higher, it wouldn't want to work. I would get stuttering and it would be like just run like dog shit essentially. So I put it on medium in order to really be able to play it a little bit, and just looking at the roads and the grass and the vehicles and the buildings and everything, it just looked good. I got to give them credit. Just like I said about Mass Effect Andromeda, just like I said about Anthem, the Frostbite engine environment-wise has always looked good, and this game is no exception. It's just the character models look fucking weird. They look off. And that's all I have for the graphics, really, because like I said, environment-wise, it's cool, but everything else is just woof. It's just woof. And then last but not least is the gameplay, which was the one saving grace to a certain extent with this beta. So the gunplay, pretty good. Pretty good. Outside of the server issues and a lot of the connectivity issues, you can tell that this was like a peer-to-peer thing, because a lot of times I'll be shooting people, my bullets wouldn't register. It was almost on some Call of Duty shit where I would shoot them first, but they'll still kill me, which I cannot fucking stand. So hopefully they fix that. Battlefield has always been known for their dedicated servers. So hopefully all of that will be ironed out by the time the game releases, because I ain't gonna even lie to you. I'm not gonna lie to you. Despite how bad the performance was, I will be able to deal with it if the online part is fine. If I can actually shoot my people and kill them without having connectivity issues and bullet registration, all of that issues, I will still play the game. I will still be somewhat okay in general. But if you pair that up with the poor optimization, no, I'm not fucking playing your game in any way, shape, or form. You could just hang it up. But for the most part, the gunplay is good. Even the sniping's good. Now, let me tell you something. I've never been a good sniper. I've always sucked at sniping in Call of Duty. I sucked at it in old Battlefield games. But over the years, I've become better and I've understood some of the principles of sniping, especially like in Battlefield games where you have bullet drop and stuff like that. Like, I've understood and sort of developed a lot of stuff and skills when it comes to that. Now, I'm not saying I'm out here the best of the best, getting like 2,000 meter headshots and all this other shit like some people are. But nonetheless, the sniping feels very satisfying. I even have some gameplay of me using sniper, but once again, I'm not good. I'm not really good at Battlefield on PC in general. I probably should have said this earlier, but I'm saying it now. If you made it this far, now you know. Battlefield is not my strong suit on PC. A lot of FPSs aren't, because I grew up playing FPSs on console. So even though I've been playing on PC for about, since 2014? I've been playing on PC since, 2014. So what is that? 7 years now? Yeah, 7 years. I still haven't really delved into competitive FPSs yet. I'm more of a single player type person when it comes to PCs. That's why I built my PC around 4K and stuff like that. I like playing a lot of single player stuff. But I've slowly been getting into it, like with Call of Duty Cold War, and now this one. So I'm not the best. But even with me not being the best, the gunplay and the sniping in this game is absolutely fantastic. It made a fucking extra noob like me at sniping, especially in something like Battlefield, look pretty decent, to where I was getting some good shots off. Now, once again, I'm not able to run around and snipe in close quarters and stuff like that like a lot of people are. But when it comes to just like, doing what a sniper does, just sitting back and, just take your little pop shots, or maybe run around a little bit, stop for a little bit, survey the area, and take your little pop shots. I'm pretty decent at that. So that's the one saving grace so far of this beta, is the gameplay and the gunplay. Oh, the weapons are pretty decent to a certain extent. I don't know how many weapons are going to be in the game, but the ones that they had, like the AK-47U or the AK-74, whatever the fuck the gun was, the assault rifle, I just know it said AK. That one was probably the best one. Now, one thing I will say, I do hope that when the full game comes out, they fix the attachments. For some reason with me, when I would add attachments onto my gun, it actually made it perform worse. That was just me, especially that AK gun. I know that you were able to unlock more guns, but I don't have the time and luxury to fucking sit around and play the game for 16 hours like some people was. Like I don't have that luxury. Like I said, I have a job and all of this other shit. So I don't have that luxury. But that for some reason, like with that gun specifically, it was like the more attachments I put, the worse it was. The less attachments I put, the better it was. So it was kind of contradictory to what Battlefield is and what shooters are in general when it comes to attachments. It was just like at this point I don't even want to fucking put nothing on. Like even just putting the standard grip, it just made it shittier. I was just like, what is this? But speaking of that, attachments, the attachment system where you do that in game, it's a cool concept, but hopefully they fix it to where whenever you put your attachments on, it stays that way. Because that was the one thing that was really killing me with this beta, was that every time I was using the AK, whatever the fuck that gun was, that assault rifle, I would essentially put the attachments on, die, to have to put the attachments back on. And it kept on doing that every fucking time I died. And it was for some reason with just that gun. I never really had that problem with the sniper rifle, except for a couple of times. That other assault rifle, I can't think of the name of it. I didn't have that problem with that gun, but for some reason with that AK, it just never worked. And then not only that, they never, unless I haven't read it, because I really haven't done like a real deep dive into everything that's supposed to be going on with this game. So if they've addressed it, please let me know. But my thing is that when it comes to the attachments, if you can unlock multiple attachments, so I'm thinking once again like Battlefield 3, Battlefield 4 type attachments where you have like a bunch of attachments that can go to a gun. If you can do that, how is that going to work in the grand scheme of things working in the live attachments thing? Because at that point, like let's just say for example, you have 30 different barrels you can attach to a gun. Like, and I know that's a bit much, but I'm just speaking, hypothetically. Let's say you can add 30 different attachments to a gun. Is there gonna? I know they're not, people. Let me make that abundantly clear. I know that they're not, but I'm just speaking because these things have to be brought up. They're not gonna strap 30 fucking barrels to the live thing to where you have to scroll back. Like they're not gonna do that. So I wonder if it's gonna be one of those things that maybe you select which ones you want to be a part of the live attachment aspect of changing weapons, like in the menu. So like let's say you have certain barrels that you like to use. So let's say you have a specific build for a specific gun for close range and one for long range, and then you can select and favorite those parts to where when you're out in the field you can do live attachments to make it what you need for that moment. So let's say you got it to where it's for long range because you're out and about, you're out in the open field, but then you open up the live attachment things and you put on your attachments for close quarters because now you're in the building. Hopefully that's what that live attachment thing is, because I do think it's a cool concept. But once again, with this beta and how janky it was and how it worked, it kind of leaves me like, well, if it's going to be like this and it's acting like this, you might as well just kept the old shit to where every time I died, I just put the attachments on and respawn, because the shit didn't stay on my gun any damn way. You know what I mean? So like that's one aspect of the gameplay that I do think is a good thing, but at the same time is also kind of lacking and hopefully is a little bit more refined, because the way it was presented there wasn't honestly and truly the best. And I'm trying to think of anything else I can think of. Once again, I'm extremely tired. I just got back from the gym probably like an hour ago, maybe two. So I'm still tired from that, and I work night, so it's hard for me to always think of everything off top. But like I said, I wrote down some notes, but not all of it. Let's see, what else can I think about gameplay wise? TTK, Time to Kill. That one, that's the biggest thing for me. Or one of the biggest things for me, especially when it comes to gameplay. The TTK for me is like right there on the borderline of like being a little bit too close to Battlefield 1 and Battlefield 5, and then like almost there to where it's where I like it. To me personally, the sweet spot for TTK, especially when it comes to Battlefield games, has always been 3 or 4. I've always enjoyed the idea, and this is one of the reasons why I've never really too much liked Call of Duty nowadays, and I've kind of fallen out of, well, I've been done falling out of love with Call of Duty since probably Modern Warfare 3. I think that was like the last one I actually enjoyed. But nonetheless, I mean, Cold War is okay, but it still has its bullshit. Actually, I take that back. Modern Warfare, the reboot, that one I put a good chunk of hours into, and I got that on PS4, and I played a good chunk of that. I actually do like that one quite a bit. So that's the last one I've actually loved. But nonetheless, one of the biggest problems that I've had with the most recent Battlefield games is the TTK. 3 and 4 has always been the sweet spot for me personally. I've always loved Battlefield 3 and 4. Always loved that. I've loved the TTK, especially something like Bad Company 2. I've loved that one as well, because that was one of the things that made me fall in love with Battlefield, was the simple fact that, like, if somebody shot you, you had enough time to run around the corner. And in Battlefield 2042, it's almost there. It's almost there. It's just like, I don't know which direction they should take it. For me personally, I would prefer for them to make the TTK a little bit longer, to where I have those moments of, like, if somebody's shooting me, I can run behind a corner and hide and heal up, and then, assess the situation on how to take them out. Because that's what I used to do a lot in BF3 and 4. Somebody will be shooting at me, and I'll be like, oh shit. I'll run around the corner, assess the situation, and then I would say a good 8 times out of 10, I would end up getting the kill, depending on how low I was on health. And this one, once again, it's almost there, but there's a lot of moments where I'm like, okay, I got it. I can get around the corner. Blah, I'm dead. And I'm like, well, fuck, I didn't even get a chance. Or the biggest thing, and that's why I'm bringing this up, it'd be on that Call of Duty bullshit. I'll see somebody, I'll be shooting them, but then for some reason, I just get melted, even though I was shooting at them before they shot at me. So that's the reason why the TTK for me is a little bit off, but it's almost kind of there. So I want to see how they're going to approach that. Depending on how the masses feel, it's probably going to end up staying the same, because there's a lot of people who don't like longer TTKs. They like the shorter ones. They kind of like what we have now. But for me personally, I need it to be a tad bit longer, because to me, that's why 3 and 4, especially 3, is still memorable to me in the sense of gameplay and moments, was because those tense moments of somebody shooting at you, especially when you're playing on something like Methough, where it's very claustrophobic and everybody's just fucking running around shooting everybody. You're seeing fucking rocket launchers and glints from sniper rifles and shit, and you're running, you're ducking and dodging, and somebody shoot at you, get some good shots in, and you're like 10% health, you duck in the subway, or a subway, like the train, not the fucking train, was a cart of a subway, or whatever the fuck it is. You know what I'm trying to say, like a segment of a subway, like the train. I don't know why I keep on calling it a fucking subway. It's called a train. But you get what I'm trying to say here, people. When you duck in one of the carts, and you laying flat, and then they're running up to you, you can hear them, and then your health is slowly building, and then you pop back up and you shoot them, and you only got like 40% health. It's those tense moments is what I long for when it comes to my FPSs. Nothing will ever top that. In Battlefield, let me put my phone on silent, sorry. Battlefield has the ability to do that again, but the question is, are they going to end up doing it, or are they just going to keep it the way it was? Because I'm not going to lie to you, the little bit that I did play a 5, I fucking hated the TTK. You would die so quick. It was literally, I would say it was almost worse than Call of Duty, because, and this is a personal opinion, I would see people, and before I could even get a bullet off, they just, and I'm fucking done. And I'm like, damn, I didn't even get like, not even one bullet came out of my damn gun, and I'm already dead. And that's how I also kind of felt about Battlefield 1, but I don't know, Battlefield 1 was kind of its own unique thing, so I didn't mind it too much. But yeah, man, that TTK, it really does need to be adjusted to just a smidge, not too much, but just a smidge to kind of even it out, at least for me personally. And that's why I'm kind of glad they're doing the Battlefield Portal shit, because at that point, people can go in and change the TTK to what they want and all of that other stuff. Another thing that I thought about just right now is they need to do a better job, and this goes into the gameplay of differentiating your teammates from your enemies. And this was one thing that I noticed, and I've seen a couple other people talk about. You can't tell the difference between your teammates and your enemies, because for some reason, there's no factions. They went with a specialist thing, which I've already brought up because I said they all look ugly as fuck. And because of that, everybody looks the same. In all of the battlefields, there was factions, so you could clearly tell who was who. You're like, okay, we're playing as the Russians, they're the US, they have different uniforms, so if they look like them, I can shoot them. But in this game, where it's a bunch of specialists, you really can't tell the difference, because everybody fucking looks the same. So if everybody runs a recon specialist, you can't tell who besides this small fucking dot that appears above them, and then half of the time, you can't fucking see the dot. So you're sitting there shooting at your own teammate, and then they're looking at you like, what the fuck? And you like, well, I didn't know. My bad, nigga. Like, I couldn't fucking see it. And then there's sometimes where you'll think it's your teammate because they're wearing a fucking recon outfit, but it's your goddamn enemy, and then you're sitting there and you just let them walk by, and then boom, you're murked. Because that happened to me. That's why I'm bringing that specific thing up. I literally saw somebody who had on a recon outfit. I didn't know that it was an enemy because there's no indicators that it was an enemy besides this stupid fucking dot. And I let them run by. The next thing I know, clack, 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 I'm dead. I'm like, what the fuck? And it's the dude that I let ran by me. I'm like, I thought that was my fucking teammate. They need to do something about that. Now, I know, once again, in the full game, it's specifically in Portal, they're going to end up having it to where, because that was like one of the big things about the advertisements, where you can mix like Battlefield 3 characters, Battlefield 4, or Battlefield 1, and then, you know, you have your 2042 characters. So it'll help you figure out which ones is which, but it's still the point of that shouldn't even be a thing. Like, this is basic shit. You've been literally doing something of this sort for the longest, and for some reason, you just completely throw that out the window and act like you've never done that before. You could have easily kept the specialist shit if they really wanted to, but then just make it to where you have Russian, Chinese, American, Japanese, or whatever specialists, and they all have different uniforms, they all look different, but you still could have kept your specialist system. It's like, how did you not think about this? You've made these games for like fucking 10 plus years now, 15 plus years now. You should know how to do this. Like, I don't understand why this is even a problem and why this should even be a thing that's brought up, but for some reason it is. And yeah, they really need to fix that, like ASAP. The last thing I'm going to talk about that I can think of off top when it comes to this open beta, I will say, and this has something to do with the gameplay, the level of destruction is not as high as I would like it. I feel like they kind of downsized on the destruction. I mean, they say otherwise, but to me, a lot of times I didn't see buildings falling to pieces like they used to. It seems like damage on certain buildings is very limited. Now, once again, I wasn't around. I didn't play the game. I didn't play the game as long as I would have liked to. So for all I know, you know, it could be one of those things. But one thing I will say is that the whole, like, I ain't gonna say Levolution thing because I don't think that's what it's technically called, but the thing where they have those events like where the tornado comes through, which I have a really good screenshot of, and I'm gonna make my thumbnail of when the tornado comes through. And you know, I'm probably gonna actually show some footage right now of like the whole tornado thing and just how it looks and running into it and stuff like that. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna go ahead and play that right now. Like, all of that stuff is really, really cool. But the thing about it is that it gets old. It does. During that time of me playing it, I seen the tornado like 3 or 4 times. I seen the rocket go off like twice. Now, the first time I seen it, the tornado and the rocket, it was cool. But then after that, it's kind of like, okay, wow. Now, the one thing that I did capture that I thought was fucking cool, I didn't get to capture the whole thing. And that's honestly what the screenshot of this video is going to be. Or not screenshot, but the thumbnail of this video is going to be. I can tell you that right now. Was that the tornado had a path to the rocket and hit the rocket and blew it up. And I'm telling you, that's going to be the thumbnail. Now, that shit was cool, and I was really hoping it would do that. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see the whole thing. I was too busy looking up, and I wasn't looking at the not the tornado, but like the rocket itself. But nonetheless, I was able to capture that. But it still goes to the thing of like, once it's happened, it's happened. I've seen it. So it's like, I don't care anymore. Like, they need to, if they're going to go that route, they need to have more unique things. Like, maybe one time the rocket doesn't shoot up in the air. Maybe it falls over and it shoots forward and it hits the other rocket, which creates like a whole new level, or not a level, but you get what I'm saying? Like, it creates a whole new area for people to shoot in and stuff like that. Like, I don't know. I feel like if they're going to go this route with this whole dynamic event thing, they need to kind of do a little bit more to spice it up, to where it just won't be the same shit. Maybe you have it to where the tornado hits the rocket as it's going up in the air and it spins around and then fucking flies off somewhere. Just something to kind of spice it up, because once you've seen the tornado once, it doesn't really add anything after that. And once you've seen the rocket go off, what else does it add? And then in my particular case, seeing the tornado hit the rocket and it explodes, it doesn't add anything because it doesn't change the way that the level is. So yeah, it's just, it's cool, but it's novel. The novelty wore off after I seen it once, and it kind of sucks because that's one of the biggest marketing things about this, and it's just like, you're going to have to give me a little bit more than that if you want me to be excited for the tornado for the 86th time, because it felt like I didn't say that clear enough. Actually, I take that back. One more thing I got that I can think of, unless I got more, and then we'll keep on going. Like I said, all this is coming off top. Is that, fuck, I just had it and I lost it. Ain't that about a bitch? I always end up doing that shit. I just had it and I fucking lost it. Damn it. I fucking lost it. I'm gonna come back if I figure it out. So the last thing I was gonna talk about, because I finally remembered, was Conquest. Once again, going back to first impressions, not only did I have all the performance problems, not only did I end up having or looking at the characters and I thought they looked like shit, not only did I have the problems with the guns and all of that stuff, Conquest was the worst way they could have showed this shit off. Now, I will be the first to tell you, I've never liked Conquest. I've always thought Conquest was a boring ass game mode. Now, I get it. There's a lot of people that love Conquest, hence why they put it as the beta. Like, is the main gameplay or main mode in the beta. I get that. But I've always been a Rush fan. I've always been an Operations fan ever since they introduced that in Battlefield 1. I don't know if it was before that, but when I started playing Battlefield, it was with Bad Company 2. I did end up going back and playing Bad Company 1, but it was mainly Bad Company 2, 3, and 4. Those are the main ones I played. And I remember Operations was new. At least they were saying that it was new in Battlefield 1. And I've always thought that was a better mode because it always gave everybody an objective and a place to go to. When you have Conquest, it's just this big ass map and there's multiple points and you got to run from point A to point B and it takes you like 30 fucking minutes just to get there. And then if you die and there's nobody close to it, then you got to spawn somewhere else just to walk back over there. And especially in this case, it's even worse because the map is so fucking big because it has 120 people on it. They're trying to force 120 people on it. And it's just, I've never liked Conquest. And I just hate that this is what they put in the beta. And the main reason why I'm bringing it up is because I wish they would have done something better or do something more with Conquest. I don't like Conquest, and it's just, I don't even know what they could do with Conquest. I just don't like it, and I think that was one of the worst things they could have done. And once again, I understand people like it, especially because you got people who like to sit there and get their long distance headshots and all of that stuff, and that stuff's cool and all. But Conquest is just a game mode that really also kind of soured this whole beta for me. And even though it kind of helped me discover a lot of things about the gameplay, I wish they would have sat there and put something like Rush in instead, or Operations or something of that sort. Because to me, that's when you're going to be able to get the full effect of the gameplay of this game, how the mobility is, how the shooting really is, how healing works, or whatever the case may be. Like, all I can think about is fucking Metro. I'm sorry. Metro is still one of the most iconic things. And like, every time I think about Battlefield, I think of Metro and just trying to push my way through the subway through those tunnels to get to the objective and then moving outside. Like I just and yeah, that's all I have to say. That's all I can think about. Conquest fucking sucks. They shouldn't have used it. And to me, it kind of does a disservice to what they was trying to do, especially when it comes to figuring out the gameplay of this, because 90% of your fucking time you spent around walking. So I can't really figure out how things work and stuff like that, the abilities and stuff, because I'm fucking sitting around walking all day. And then as soon as I die, I spawn halfway across the map just to run back where all the action's at. And not only that, that's another reason why I'm bringing up Conquest. Depending on how the map is laid out, all the action is centered in one area. So like in the map that they gave us, the gameplay and everything that I wanted to do was restricted to the middle, where the rocket was at, where that big tall ass building that was one of the capture points, where everybody just camps up top and shit like that. Like it doesn't make for a fun game. It doesn't make the gameplay fun. It makes it exhausting. It really does, because that's honestly one of the reasons why I didn't play the game, is that the game as long as I could have when I could on the weekends, because after I played like 3 games of Conquest, I was exhausted, because like it's, even though I wasn't running, I felt like I was running, and then me dying just to spawn somewhere else to run back to the fucking action. It didn't make the gameplay loop as fun as it could have been if they just would have put it in a close quarters map and made it rush or operation of something like that. So that's all I have. That's all I can think of off top. Let me know what you think about the Battlefield 2042 beta. I ain't gonna even lie to you. If you want to see a better video that goes over a lot of shit that I most likely end up missing, but I want to talk about because I forgot and I'm tired and I didn't take decent notes, just go watch Skill Up video. I'll leave it down in the description box below. And yeah, that's all I gotta say.